If someone sold you a fixed annuity and told you it has no fees, they were either wrong or they weren't telling you the whole story. The real cost of a typical FIA runs between 3 and 5% every single year. And most of it's completely invisible to you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 3 things. Number 1, the fees that are disclosed in your contract but are easy to miss. Number 2, the hidden mechanisms that quietly shrink your returns a lot and are never labeled as fees at all. And number 3, the total all-in cost and what regulators like FINRA and the SEC are warning people about right now. Hi, my name is Tommy Cloud, and I'm president of Third Act Retirement Planning. It's a company that I started back in 2000. And I also have a finance degree from college. I'm a CFP, certified Kingdom advisor and chartered financial consultant. We believe money should bring clarity and peace, not confusion and fear. Our why is to walk with people who suddenly come into wealth, helping them move from overwhelmed to confidence so that they can make calm, informed decisions about their future and legacy. All right, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the fees that are in your contract. These are the ones your agent, or as I like to call them, secret agent man, should have walked through with you. And this is all those seminars all across the country. There's millions upon millions of production in fixed income annuities. In fact, in 2025, fixed indexed annuities hit a record high of $460 billion. That's with a B. So that is literally, if you take $460 billion and multiply it times 4%, that's the average of the amount of money per year moving forward that'll be just taken out of the economy, literally just taken from people. And that doesn't include all the sales that were made in 24 and 2023 and 2022. So let's start with an administrative fee. That's usually $25 to $50. Fee number 2 that they tell you about then is a spread or a margin fee. This one is deducted right from your index gains before anything gets credited to you. And that runs about 1 to 3.5%. So you complain about another advisor that's fee only charging you 1% a year, or 1.5% a year, whatever they charge you. And then you get into this annuity and you're being charged 1 to 3.5%, you're not getting anything for it additionally. You're not getting the financial planning, you're not getting the insurance reviews, you're not getting the tax planning, you're not getting the investment planning and the annual meetings. It's just being charged your money every single year. If you added any riders, like a lifetime income rider, those run another 0.5% to over 1% a year. On their own, these fees sound manageable, but here's where it gets interesting. Now let's talk about that are not labeled as fees. These are the indirect, or one could use the word hidden cost, but they function exactly like fees. So the first one is called the participation rate. Your fixed indexed annuity, or FIA as they're called, might say it tracks the S&P 500. But if the participation rate is 75% and the market goes up 10%, you don't get 10%. You get 7.5%. That missing 2.5%, gone. Then there's a rate cap. Let's say your cap is 6%. Even if the market jumps 14%, you're capped at 6%. The rest, it's not yours. And this is the reason. These participation rates and these caps are the reason that these fixed index annuities act like bonds. I've had a client in one 20 plus years ago, and the market was going up and the client only averaged like 6% a year or something. And so they're really more like bonds. In a bull market, that's what they end up returning to clients. And some FIAs use custom indexes with their own built-in index methodology fee, and that's usually 0.5% to 1.5% embedded inside the index itself. Here's a real example of how these stack up. Say the index gains 10%. Your contract has a 75% participation rate and a 3% spread. Step 1, 10% times 75% is 7.5%. So there's just from the index gains that you can participate in. Step 2, you take the 7.5% and then you subtract the 3% spread. That's a 4.5% increase left. So the index went up 10% and you got credited 4.5%. That is not a misstatement. That's how these things. And so why are they so popular? It's because They allow financial advisors and insurance agents to feed their family, to be very successful financially. They have commissions that can range from 5 to 10%, 7% is very common, and then they can pay for the next seminar meeting. They can pay for the next webinar. And so they sell $300,000 in annuities. Some people do $1 million a month or more. And if they do, let's say they did $1 million a month, then they're going to make $70,000 a month in commissions. $500,000 per month would be $35,000 per month in commissions alone, and that just keeps paying their marketing. And then we got to talk about the optional rider fees that you may or may not have. If you added any additional riders to the contract, layer those costs on top. So let's say you wanted a guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit. Those run about 0.95% to 1.2% a year. Or let's say you wanted a guaranteed minimum income benefit. Those can be up to 1.5% a year. And then even a basic death benefit rider adds another 0.25% to a 0.5%. And these fees are additive, meaning if you picked 2 or 3 riders, those percentages all stack up. Next, we're going to move to the surrender charges. And this is one more cost that I want you to know about, and that's surrender charges. If you need access to your money before the contract term is up, you could face a penalty of up to 10% in 1 year. And it typically takes 7 to 10 years before the charges drop to 0, and it could be more. Most contracts do allow you to pull out up to 10% per year penalty-free. But if you need more than that, it's going to cost you. So what does all of this add up to? FINRA, the SEC, and the NAIC, the top financial regulators in this country, estimate that when you add up every explicit fee and every hidden mechanism, the total annual cost of a typical fixed indexed annuity, or FIA, lands between 3 and 5% per year. FINRA has explicitly said that no fee claims are misleading. The SEC tells investors to demand full disclosure of all costs, including indirect ones. The NAIC requires annual statements to show you what's been credited and charged. On a $300,000 annuity, 3 to 5% a year is $9,000 to $15,000 every single year, quietly eating into your retirement. And here's the thing, once again, if you're going to buy these things, they've got to replace the bonds. They are not going to provide you with hardly any inflation protection when you compare it to stocks, gold, or real estate, or cryptocurrency. It's just not going to happen. These are bond replacements. Your money is guaranteed, and all of this talk about linking it to the stock market is just to make it more sellable, just to make it fancy. But when you look at these fees, you are getting absolutely hammered. And it's an embarrassment to really even mention stocks along with this product, really. These aren't automatically a bad product, but you deserve to know exactly what you're paying for. Before you sign anything, ask for a full fee breakdown, every line item explicit and hidden. The reason there hasn't been more crackdown on these is because, again, they are a guaranteed product. So they are safe. Something can be misleading and safe all at the same time, or something can have hidden fees and be. People don't lose money in these, they make money in these. And that's why we don't have the lawsuits that are involved or more regulation on them. If you want help reviewing your current annuity or figuring out whether it fits your retirement plan, you can apply for a free 20-minute, no cost, no obligation, no sales pressure meeting with me. Just click on the link and schedule a Zoom meeting, and I'll look at it and we'll talk about it and see if it's in your best interest. Either way, get the facts before your money quietly disappears, and we will see you on the next edition of Sudden Wealth Stewardship.